A Dragon Waifu ride line that feels like a ride chain, and also blade wings. So let's begin, but first, cards from last few days. So let's start off with the Lyrical Monasterio Alestial support with Heavily Recital Emmanuel, Grade 2, Tank Power and Skillless. Black Wings, Auto Rearguard. At the end of the battle that this card attacked while boosted, choose one of your rearguards or one card in your soul and put that to your hand. If you chose from soul, put this unit to your soul. This is nice to do some cycling and also reuse some on-place abilities, as there are some wing cards that have that. Next, a triple rare, Downpouring Singer Ikeo. Grade 3, 13 power, and it's skillless. Auto Rearguard. When your Vanguard is placed, costs bind this unit and draw a card. This will be important for its second skill because auto, when this card is bound, both white and black wing abilities can be activated until your opponent's next turn. Yes, now you're not restricted to whatever grade that you have in your bind zone, which of course will make this an automatic 4-up. But one thing I do like is that it says when your Vanguard is placed, so it doesn't have to be Persona Ride, and there might be some future proof because of it, because cross rides might be a thing in the future, who knows. And then to a generic double rare, Unbreakable Talent Henrinata. Grade 2, Tank Power and Skillless. Auto Rearguard. When this card is boosted, cost Soul Blast 1. Increase the power of this unit by the original shield of that unit that is boosting this into the end of the battle. So basically, the higher shield that this unit gets boosted by, the more power that this card gets. So a regular trigger is a 15k shield, meaning it gets 15k power. Now if you do that with an over trigger, that's 50,000 extra power. Not sure you're willing to waste that shield though. And now for cards that support today's archetype, that being Clarissa, or in this case also called Ernest Correct. The first one being a double rare, Ernest Correct Supporter Riona. Grade 1, AQ Power and it's skillless. Auto Rearguard. When your other rearguard with Ernest Connect in its card name is retired by your opponent's turn, if this unit is on rearguard, cost Soul Blast 1, discard a card from hand and return that retired card to your hand. This is more so to save your Ernest Connect cards because you do want to build up 5 different Ernest Connect units on the field, so saving each one of them will be quite important. Now this card is kinda weak for a double rare because 1, your opponent could always just retire this card first, but there's also the situations where your opponent doesn't have actual field control, so they can resort to attacking your rearguards first, and you can trigger this ability off to of course save that valuable piece. Next, Ernest Correct member Catherine. Grade 2, Tank Power, and it's skillless. Auto Rearguard. When your Grade 3 Clarissa on your Vanguard hits, cost Counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand and stand this unit. That attack hit will not be an issue because that will actually be part of the archetype. And spoiler alert, she might be a descendant of Big Bang Knuckle. And then we go to a triple rare, Ernest Connect member Evelyn. Grade 2, 8k power, and it's skillless. Auto when placed on rearguard from hand. If your Vanguard is the Grade 3 Clarissa, cost Counterblast 1, search your deck for one Grade 2 or lower Ernest Connect card, reveal it, and if that card is a different 1-to-1 that you have on your field, call it to rearguard. Like I said, building up your Ernest Connect units with different names on your field, and must have 5 mind you. This could be very important, so this is an automatic 4-of. And now before we go to the Tuesday stream, Clan Collection for Dark Irregulars. Here's the Heal Guardians and the reprints. Next, Gastille Squeezer. Grade 1, AQ Power and skillless. Auto, when placed on rearguard, costs. Put a normal unit from your drop zone to the bottom of the deck, and then you can soul charge 1. Well, better than those just on place to soul charge 1. It's also nice that you can put a card from your drop zone back to your deck because that is a recycle, and every card that you return back is very helpful to prevent deck out. But its second skill, at drop zone, bind this card and choose one of your rearguards and put it to soul. Can be very nice for some cards that have soul abilities, especially when we're already talking about a clan that interacts with soul. Next, Blaze Foresight. Grade 2, 90 power and skillless. Auto when placed on Vanguard rearguard, cost Counterblast 1, choose up to 2 trigger units from your hand and put them to soul, and then draw 1 card for each one. I don't like this, primarily for the fact that you have to put 2 trigger units. Now in Premium, this could be fine considering that there are cards that interact with the soul, especially some triggers. But in all honesty, there's just a lot better cards. And then to the new boss unit for Dark Irregulars, Blade Wing Reijy. Grade 3, 12k power, protect, and it's skillless. Act Vanguard. If your soul has 10 or less cards, cost Soul Blast 1, choose a card from your soul and bind it face down. It's weird, but it's a unique playstyle to this archetype. And also because it's for its outer skill, that will be Count Vanguard. Get all the effects below depending on the number of cards face down in your bind zone. 5 or more, this card gets plus 5k on both players' turns. 7 or more, during your turn, this card gets plus 10k power in 1 drive check. Very nice. 10 or more, during your turn, this card gets plus 10k power and 2 crits. So meaning if you're able to build up the right amount of cards in your bind zone, this will be at least 37k with 3 drive checks and 3 crits. That can be quite nasty, especially when the first skill is actually not once per turn. The only condition is as long as you have 10 or less cards, which can be controllable in Dark Irregulars. Because of course you can soul charge a little later if you're already kind of mass soul charging early game, soul blast a bunch of stuff with this card just to build up for this second skill, and then of course just do a bunch of soul charge again, and then use this first skill again to soul blast and bind those cards again. So in some cases, you're actually making the bind zone as your new soul for this card. Now the unfortunate thing is that because of this skill, you don't really have a good backup grade 3. Best will probably be Master of 5th Element because the soul blast all 15 cards. But anyway, this card also has a third skill, Auto Vanguard. When this card attacks, if your bind zone has 15 or more face down cards, choose one of your opponent's Vanguards and deal 2 damage. And no, your opponent does not have to be your 5 or less damage, you could just deal 2 damage and make them go to 6. So yeah, pretty nice. But like I said before, since you are binding the cards from your soul, making your bind zone as your new soul for this card, all those cards that interact with the soul are gonna get nullified. So keep that in mind. But considering that it's so easy to generate soul just even for its first skill, pulling the 15 soul abilities all together, that should not be difficult. And now for the Tuesday stream. First we got a Dark States promo, Balance Wiggler. Grade 1 AK power and skills. Auto, when placed on rearguard, cost combat 1, perform one of these following effects below depending on the number of rearguards your opponent controls. 2 or less, this card gets plus 5k power. 3 or more, choose one of your opponent's front row rearguards and retire it. This is an okay tech option for Dark States. And then for the Clarissa ride line, here's your starter. And then we go to Serious Challenger Clarissa, which is a grade 1 with AK power and skills. Auto, when placed on Vanguard by riding on top of Dignifying Will Clarissa, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose one grade 1 or less Ernest correct card, and add it to your hand, put the rest to the bottom. And this is what I meant at the beginning, where this feels like a ride chain. You ride on top of grade 0 just to get some benefit, but it's guaranteed because we got a ride deck. But anyway, second skill. Count Vanguard during turn. If you have no rear guards, this card gets plus 5k power. So guaranteed 13k attacker during your first turn. Nice. Next, Accurate Interval Clarissa. Grade 2, 10k power and skills. Auto, when placed on Vanguard by riding on top of Serious Challenger Clarissa, cost Soul Blast 1, look at top 7 cards of your deck, choose one grade 2 or less Ernest correct card, and add it to your hand. Put the rest at the bottom of the deck. So grade 1 searches a grade 1 or less, grade 2 searches for grade 2 or less. Every plus helps for this deck because you do want to build up those different names of rear guards with Ernest Connect. But its second skill is literally the same as the grade 1 where it's Count Vanguard during your turn. If you have no rear guards, this card gets plus 5k. Nothing else to say. And then we go to Ernest Correct Leader Clarissa, which is a grade 3 with 13 power and skills. Auto when placed on Vanguard by riding on top of Accurate Interval Clarissa, cost counterblast 1, search your deck for Aim to Be Strongest Idol and put it to your hand. So basically the whole entire ride line pretty much searches like it's a ride chain. Okay, but its second skill. Auto Vanguard. When this card attack hits, draw a card, choose one of your Ernest Connect rear guards, and it gets plus 5k power until the end of turn. The attack hit is not going to be much of an issue, because like I hinted earlier, this is probably Big Bang Knuckles' descendant. Because Aim to Be the Strongest Idol is a grade 3 normal order, and you play it if you have 5 or more different Ernest Connect cards in your field. Like I said earlier, you want to build up your field with a bunch of different Ernest Connects on your field, just for this card. Because its skill is, until the end of the turn, all your Ernest Connect cards get plus 5k power, and luckily your grade 3 Clarissa is also Ernest Connect. And if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, choose one Ernest Connect Leader Clarissa, and it gets this skill, Count Vanguard. When this card would attack, choose 3 of your opponent's units, and it can battle all 3 units at once. So like I said, Big Bang Knuckle with some Royal Paladin-like condition. So yeah, I would say this is okay alongside with Clarissa, because Clarissa has its second skill where every time you attack hit, and this gives you 3 targets, 2 of them will most likely be rearguards, giving you in many cases 2 draws and 2 5k power buffs along with it. Max 3 of course. And this card also builds up your power for all your Ernest credits, giving that Royal Paladin-like vibe, because when they gather together they overpower the enemy. But overall, I don't really like the 2 cards being separate. I feel like Clarissa itself should actually have this card's skill, so you don't need to actually make 2 separate cards. Hopefully they will have ways to recycle this 1 order card, which I do see it very likely, because otherwise there might be some issues for the deck. So that's it for this stream. What do you guys think about Blade Wings and the Clarissa ride line? Blade Wings, very interesting that they're using face down bind zone for its soul. Feels like what Gear Chronicle should have done. And then Clarissa was very tempted at the beginning because it was a Dragon Waifu and those thing matches for me. And speaking of which, now that all 5 lyrical monasterial archetypes have been revealed, which one are you guys looking forward to? My debate is with the angels, the songs, or the Dragon Waifus. Most likely with the angels because I find that archetype the most interesting, but the song ones is also very tempting as well. And I didn't think I would ever get interested in lyrical monasterial, but now I'm very tempted to build one of the archetypes. But anyway, it's time to say goodbye.